What's going on, big time?
Man,
All right, good to see you.
good to see you, man. Been a while. Been a long time.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man. It's been a minute, man. How you
Uh,
been?
Good, doing real good, man. Thank you for doing the sit down with Mark. I really appreciate it.
You're welcome, man. Anytime, anytime.
Doc ain't gonna hold you too long. I'm gonna jump right into these questions, man, and hang on with me for about 2 minutes after we done.
Sure.
Coach, talk about your journey to becoming a head coach.
Man, that my journey. Lord have mercy. All right, my
I heard the
journey.
speech about the Murray State days.
Yeah, that you know what? Really, the basketball piece really didn't play that big of a role. That was more of like a personal goal for myself in regards to goals or things I had set for myself personally, because the goal was to play professionally, which I've had opportunities to do that, but I chose to put family before my own personal goals. That's one thing God humbled me with, and I had to, sacrifice and put things that I wanted to do for myself on the back burner, man. Because I should have been a head coach a way long time ago.
Yeah.
But hey, it's even sweeter now that I've had to wait. So really my journey started technically with AAU. I started, I want to say, when I gave up basketball, because like when I left Murray State, I transferred to UNC Charlotte. So I had the opportunity. Actually, I had the opportunity to go to a school called Georgetown. So there's two Georgetowns. A lot of people don't know this. So there's a Division II Georgetown that's pretty as a high major Division II school that they're normally in the Final Four just about every year. It's a Division II school that was gonna offer me a full ride. And I just had my son, and I decided to, I was at a point in my life, like, I didn't want my son to grow up without me being around. And, I had the opportunity to be there for my dad, had the opportunity to be there for me and my family. So I grew up, with both parents. So, that was a decision I had to make. So at that point, I just decided to hit the stop button on basketball. So what ended up happening, I still kind of flirted with basketball a little bit. So when I was at Charlotte, I actually had an opportunity to walk on at Charlotte, but what happens, and I think a lot of people forget, is that, and if you had never played at the college level, timing matters. So when you're playing at a certain level, you're playing at a certain speed, your timing, your skills erode, and you get to playing Division I ball at Murray, so you get used to playing against a certain level of talent. So when you're not able to sharpen your skill like that against that talent on a day-to-day basis, when you try to jump out there and you play with guys that are at that level, it's humbling, because you forget how competitive it was, how good you used to be. And that's when I was like, you know what, it would require me again to, it just reminded me that, I had to cut everything off in my life just to go down that path again. I think a lot of people don't understand how much sacrifice and how many things you had to cut off in your life in order to just to make a college team, let alone play and get playing time at the Division I level. People don't even understand that. Until you actually go through that fire and you realize how competitive it is. So like once I just said, you know what, I'm done. I said, let me just go get my degree. And I realized, I love basketball so much. I was like, it's hard, that feeling every year. Once you play at that level, it's hard to make that feeling go away. So I had this internal clock built into me that every summer, I would say right around July, late July, this internal clock will go off at me in regards to preparing myself for preseason basketball, preparing myself for the season. And I had to remind myself, yeah, man, you're not playing ball anymore. So it would frustrate me. So I'm like, man, how can I solve this? Like, I need to be able to take all this energy that I have, because I find myself going to the gym, working out, but I'm like, man, I'm not playing anymore. What the hell am I going to do with myself? So I had a guy, and a lot of people don't know this. So the head coach of Liberty Heights High School, I met a guy by the name of Mike Wright. And I would give him credit. Mike Wright is doing big things right now in Charlotte. So I think it was like my senior year, right before I was graduating. I met him. I was working part-time, I think, at the Johnston YMCA. And he was just getting ready to graduate from West Charlotte, because he played basketball there. And we were just talking one day, you know, when you're around guys that like minds, and we both love basketball so much. And he's like a little brother to me, and we got a lot in common. And because we both love the game a lot. And, you know, I was trying to, you know, he said he wanted to play college ball. You know, I was going to try to hook him up to where I went to school at. And he was like, man, you know, why don't you think about coaching, man? Like, and I was like, damn, I never thought of that. So here it is. Here I am, 24, 25, and a guy 17. It was him. Mike Wright put that thought in my head. I never even thought of it, you know, because my mind was play ball. Yeah. And he put that thought in my head. So the head coach of Liberty Heights right now, Mike Wright, who is like, man, he is, when I say he's taken off, he really has. He put that thought in my head. So this is where my journey actually began. So that's what led me into coaching. I actually did Y-ball at the Johnson YMCA. That was my first little head coaching job. And then YMCA. And then I did that. I went from that. And I think it was right after he told me that I did that. And like, I want to say, he told me that in the fall. I did that in the fall. And then I think this was like 1990. No, it was, I want to say it was 2000, right after 9/11. I had that job. I want to say it was 2002, fall of 2002. And then I did AAU for the Heads Up Hurricanes in Charlotte with a guy by the name of Reggie. I forgot his name, but he owned a barbershop. And I got into AAU, and that's when I fell in love with it, because I was like, man, now I found a way to still, it's like, I'm still in basketball, but I realized, okay, I got a passion for it. I always knew I had it from a player's perspective, but I wanted to be able to help those who had the same passion, help them fulfill their dreams, which led me to, I moved back home with my son and his mother. And this is where I got the opportunity over at Andrews. That's why I ended up meeting you, Craig, Marcus Gilchrist, Kellen Brand. And it was, man, after that I took off after that, because working with James Abel, who honestly, man, he's the best coach I've ever worked with to date, by far. Yeah. And I've been around some great coaches, including college. I don't even think Coach Abel knows how great he is. He's that great coach.
He was smart. He was smart with it. Coach, what's the most important character building qualities to teach your players?
Trust. And I've always been like that. Trust, respect, and hard work, man. Like, and that trust and loyalty, respect, and hard work. Because if a player, if I could trust you and you're loyal and you're gonna put in the work, man, the sky's the limit. I mean, I think about being at Andrews, and I think about the talent that we had. If some guys would have bought in and would have been loyal. And when I say they were loyal, but they were like, think about it, get guys like Keith DeWitt,
It was
like
2 or 3 years where he could have championships at Andrews.
Yes, Abel's game plan was bulletproof, but we needed guys that were willing to buy in the classroom and translate that to the basketball court. Those three qualities that you gotta be able to trust the guy. You gotta be able to work hard, and loyalty is valuable to me, because you got those three qualities, man. I mean, and that's character, especially for a man. That means everything.
Coach, you spoke earlier about some of your role models. Who were some of the influences growing up?
Let me say influences just in sports or just in general?
Either one.
In general, I would say something like Bill Cosby, like A Different World, things like that. That those shows showed me that,
that gives you your college vibe.
Yeah, that showed me as a young black male in high school that every black man wasn't a clown or a rapper. It showed that the average black man is intelligent, and that you can be a doctor or a lawyer. You can go to school. Everybody don't got to be a dope dealer or a fool or a jokester, and still be respected. That really mattered to me, because I come from a blue collar family. We didn't, I didn't grow up poor, but we weren't rich neither. So those shows like that was a reflection of how I live my life. Sports wise, what really got me involved in basketball was, I would say, it was a guy I played high school ball with named Josh Pittman. I watched because I was into football, actually. A lot of people don't know this, but I was in.
You love your Cowboys.
Yeah, like I was 5. I'm 5'10" actually, so I was 5'10", wearing a size 11 in the 6th grade. So I was actually tall, like Craig. I was like Craig's size in the 6th grade, but I stopped growing. Everybody caught up with me, so that's when I stopped playing football. And I was like, man, I was punishing people, but then I started getting punished. That's when I was like, I gotta find a new hobby. And there's a guy I went to school with named Josh Pittman that I played ball with at East Forsyth. He's a little bit older than me. And I witnessed him playing, working on his game one day after football practice. This is in East Winston. And he's about 6'4", 6'4.5", 6'5". And I was just enamored on how hard he worked and how graceful he reminded me of Kevin Durant. What you see, what Kevin Durant is today, that's what I saw, and I was like, damn, I wish I was. The first thing that came out of my mouth, I was like, damn, I wish I was damn 6'5". Like, this dude is like special, and I was like, I ain't even really picked up a basketball, but I said, you know what? I want to be like that. I know I ain't going to be that tall, but I want to do what he's doing. And this is when I started watching basketball. I was watching the UNLV running Rebels. Like, I started like looking at guys like my size, like Anderson Hunt. I was real big on. And then Allen Iverson, like that. When I saw Allen Iverson, bro, I was like, it was over for me. I was like, you know what? Which you see number 3 in the back, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. I was like, when I seen AI, I was like, bro, it's a wrap. So it's like I took Josh, his hard work, and this is where I get hard work from. People don't understand, like, this dude, imagine Keith DeWitt working hard like Marcus Gilchrist. Yeah. That's Josh. And nobody having to ask him to do that. Keith DeWitt will be a billionaire by now.
Yeah.
So Josh worked like that. And I tell guys, like, I've never seen somebody with all that talent. Normally it's the opposite. Somebody that's that talented, somebody got to beg them to work out. They're always in trouble. He was the exact polar opposite. And that really, something about that really changed how I thought about sports. And it made me look at myself like, man, dang, I really, if a dude is this great at what he does, it made me look at myself as an athlete like, damn, I really need to, if I want to be, I knew I was going to never be that good. But I said, if he was like, dude was like God level with it. I was like, man, if I could get, he was in space. If I was like, if I can get stratosphere level with it, then I could play college ball. If I could just be on the same court with this dude, I could play college. That's the way in the era I grew up with, just playing on the same floor with a guy like that or another guy like Tyson Patterson, guys that are Hall of Famers at my high school, that was respect. And, that's different from what I see today. People run from that now. People are afraid of competition. And when we grew up, we ran to it. Yeah. Got your ass busted? Hey, back to the drawing board. You got to figure it out like Wile E. Coyote. You catch the road runner today, you got to go back and figure out, man, how can I get it done?
Got to get to him. Coach, while you was at Andrews, I met you as a student manager. What coaching or life lessons did you learn that you still hold value today?
Man, Abel taught me a lot, man. Abel taught me a lot about myself. Life lessons. He taught me about the game of basketball, how to coach. Like I knew the game from a player's perspective, but I didn't know how to run a program. I didn't know situational basketball. I didn't understand when I say situational, when to call a timeout, when to stop the bleeding when you're in trouble, to keep a team from beating you. When you got momentum, being able to articulate. One of the great things I learned from James Abel, was communication. Because I was already good with you all and building relationships, but the one key piece that I was missing earlier on was being able to communicate what we needed to have done to where everybody understood it. And that's one of the great things that I learned from him, is being able to take what the overall objective of what we needed to do to win the ball game, to build a successful program, to where everybody understood it and was able to collectively execute that. That was one of the major things that I learned from Abel. I learned how to be professional, be a professional coach, and he taught me how to kick people's ass, and to be. That's one of the things I think we got a lot in common. Like, I had an arrogance about myself, but a respect for arrogance. But on the coaching side, he taught me how to be it's like a respectful arrogance. Like, I just like kicking people's asses. I got used to that. Like at Andrews, it was normal stomping people's guts in. And it's like, who else want to get beat down? And that really helped me understand how to develop talent too as well. Like, we already had talent there, but some guys weren't as talented as others. So he taught me how to drills on how to teach guards, but then also Coach Robinson too. And forgive me for this, but Coach Robinson, I mean, I was blessed to be in both of their presences. So you talking about one of the best high school coaches I've ever been around, and then you talking about another one of the best high school coaches and one of the best girls coaches right now at the college Division I level. Period. I don't care what Gino Oriema, Coach Robinson is like that. And he taught me how to coach bigs. So I learned diversity. So I learned how to coach guards and big. So technically, I only knew how to coach the guards my first year. And Abel forced me. I never forget this. Like my second year with Robinson, when I come up from JV, he taught me how to he said, hey man, go down there with the guard. Go down there with the bigs with Terrell. You need to learn how to coach bigs. And I was like, man, I'm young, like, why? And I got down there and he's showing me, Terrell was showing me things in the defense. And I learned defense from Coach Robinson too. Collective defensive drills. Like I was blessed to be around. If both these men were coaching high school basketball, man, they'd be winning state championship rings. They on all 5 fingers. They have rings on all 5 fingers. This is why I attribute a lot of my success being able to go to QEA and the success we had there for 1 year and being able to go to Glenn, because when I went to Glenn had a ton of talent.
Yeah.
Not High Point Andrews level, but it was I would say close, but somewhat close. But we were losing and Andrews, we lose 4 or 5 games. That's a losing season to us.
Yeah.
We 24-2 and 3 or something, and people mad about that.
Yeah.
So see, Abel taught me that excellence.
Yeah.
We losing 3 games and people pissed off. And I got to Glenn and we was what, 15 or 16 and what, 12? I was angry my first year. Like I've never lost like that. But I learned humility too. One of the great things I learned at Glenn was humility. That, hey, every situation, you may not always walk into. Every situation is going to be different. So I think Abel and Coach Robinson prepared me for that situation, and I knew what it took to be able to support Coach Gainey and Coach James.
Coach, last question. For the student athletes that will eventually go on to play overseas or some going to college after high school, what advice and what are things they should expect?
For student athletes that'll go on to play ball at the next level, to be honest with you, expect the unexpected. Truthfully, especially talking about playing college basketball, nothing's promised. The only thing that you can promise is that if you put in the time and the work yourself, but you got to bet on yourself, because if you don't, that's one thing I knew initially being able to start as a true freshman at Murray State, that you had to put in the time. I had blinders on. Because I come from a high school where, hell, I didn't even start. But I was so used to playing with guys that were, the point guard that was starting over me, he's All-State. He's the best point guard in North Carolina in 1996. Josh Pippen, the year that left, he was All-State. Division I, like these guys were super great. So I was already sharpened or dipped in the fire. So it's kind of like, it's okay to be arrogant somewhat, but don't lose your focus is another thing. Don't forget like that just because you got to where you desire to be, that not to continue to work hard, because it's another guy or another young lady that wanted 10 times harder than you, and they're a better athlete, got better grades, may be in a better situation than you. They may got a better connection or better relationship with the coach. And what people don't realize, at the college level, it's a business, man. I don't think people realize that. So it's a true story. I started as a true freshman. I earned it. But I got comfortable. And And I'm thinking like, it's like high school. I'm the better player. Everybody on the team knows it. Um, you know, um, we're winning. We were dog, what, the previous year. And, hey, it is what it is. The the upperclassman's job that I took, he breaks my nose in practice on purpose. This is what a lot of student athletes don't understand. You have upperclassmen that will fight you. I'm not kidding. I'm being dead serious that some upperclassmen will be willing to fight you over that position physically, right, whether it's in practice or after practice or right, during practice. So, he elbowed me, broke my nose. I still got a crack my nose all the way up here to my orbital. So mind you, I was out. Now this is prior to all this, the face mask and all that. So you had to be out. And I was out for I want to say 2 months. Like I had a deviated septum, dude. Like I was almost out for the year because it was close to my bone was almost could have been touching my brain. It's cracked pretty good. And didn't have to have surgery, but they had to re-straighten my nose. I had to have outpatient surgery. I had to re-straighten my nose. I had to put some type of thing over the top of my face, and my nose was draining. Now, mind you, if people don't understand this, I'm away from my parents. First time I've never had to have surgery on anything. I'm away from my people. I'm having surgery with people I don't even know who the hell these people are. And I had my start position on my way to be, freshman newcomer of the year, which I still ended up getting it, but I think they just gave it to me just to give it to me. But I was I even look back at that to what my career would have been if that wouldn't have happened. And I got, I healed up. I come back. I'm thinking, hey, slide over. Yeah. Nah, it would. I told you, it's one thing that I learned as a player from my college coach. As a coach now, it's about trust. What have you done for me here recently? I don't care what you did for me 3 or 4 months ago. Can you replicate what you've done for me yesterday? And the guy who broke my nose, he just started to play good. So here I am in practice trying to battle him back. But remember I told you, I was out for 2 months. I could pick up a ball, but I couldn't play physically. So I lost weight. I wasn't nothing but about 149 pounds, but I got up to about 165, but then I lost weight, dropped that back down to about 147. And because I wasn't physically active like that. So dealing with being depressed because I wasn't playing. Psychologically, I was pissed. I want to get back because dude broke my nose. He had to break us apart, which I did get my get back, by the way. I did. Yeah, I had to get there. You're gonna make me sit out. Well, I'm gonna get even one way or another. But then, I wasn't able. And what's crazy, I wasn't able to start the rest of the year. I was coming off 6-man, and I asked coach at the end of the year, and he said, son, it was tough on him because I was at the point where I was pissed. I actually went and worked out with Winston-Salem State that summer. And I was Coach Hanger, who was the coach at Winston-Salem State. They wanted me to transfer. And I was this close to saying, you know what, Thursday, I'm gone.
Did you have a guaranteed spot?
Say what now? No, I didn't get my spot back the rest of the year. Nope. It was cycle. It was timing. I lost my timing, my confidence, because once I had my nose broken, my swagger. This is what this when you're at that level, the speed of the game, and once you get a couple of games under your belt and you get your confidence, it's like the game slows down and you're able to see everything. And I was so confident in myself because I was so used to playing with guys like Tyson, Josh. I was used to it. So I was used to playing with guys that were already the D1. So this wasn't new to me. So I was already, this is why I was telling you, sharpen your talent against guys that are already great. So when I go out and I play against guys that were below that level or close to it, man, this ain't new to me. You don't scare me. I don't care if you're 6'9", whatever. Man, a guy I play at home at UNC Asheville 10 times better than you. So, and he making money in Puerto Rico. He a killer for real. You nothing to me. That's how I psychologically. So when I got hurt, it was hard. So now I can empathize. And what I mean by that, I can put myself in other student athlete shoes or a professional athlete shoes. When you get hurt, it's hard to recover from that, man, and get back to where you once were because people expect you to be that guy. And like, man, there were a couple games like we scrimmaged Texas, Texas, Texas Pan Am, and I was hooping like dudes twice my size, and I was like, I had gotten a couple of letters from I got a letter from what was the school? Texas A&M questionnaire. Like this is like a low, I would say low mid major. This was like my freshman year. Cause I guess somebody must have been at that game.
Right.
And I did okay. I did pretty good. And I still got that. I still got that in the box to this day. My confidence was through the roof. But I already knew that playing with guys like a Tyson Patterson, Josh Pittman, William Butler, like I got guys like, we talking about guys I grew up with that were, man, way better than me. And this is what I tell young student athletes, like, man, surround yourself with guys that are better than you.
Yeah.
Because that's how you become great. Because if you surround yourself with guys that are on level with you, you can't get any better. In order to get better, you have to surround yourself with guys that are better than you, and preferably way better than you. And this is how you become great. You don't get great, or you don't become great by beating up on bums. You sharpen your tool or your skill set against guys that are better, and preferably better, way better. So, I mean, that in a nutshell, just stay the course, and don't make the mistake I made. Don't become satisfied. I got relaxed, and it could be gone just like that injury. And I had the same thing happen my sophomore year. This time it wasn't the elbow. I had drop foot, like a flash tendonitis. I started my sophomore year, and my arch fell. This is why I tell you it's a business. My coach Mike St. John, he recruited a guy. I mean, guy looks just like me.
Coach, go ahead and give me your ending because I'm on a time limit. But
yeah,
we're gonna talk after you done. I appreciate you sitting down with me though.